All right, yo, what's up? Otis 5D in the plizzle. And if you're watching this on YouTube or Twitter, this is an excerpt from a live stream on Rumble. So subscribe to me on Rumble at Otis 5D to get all that. And I have one request from you before we get started. As you're watching this, if there's any part that you like, 10 seconds to 3 minutes, if you reply with a timestamp, you send me a message with a timestamp, you say, yo, Otis, that part was good, I would so appreciate it so that I can clip it for a short form video. With that said, this video is called The AI Prepper Schizophrenia of Our Present Time, featuring Dario Amodei and Dan Bongino. What a power couple. Dario Amodei of Anthropic, aka Claude AI, and Dan Bongino. That's why you watch this shit. This is News from 5D. I'm Otis 5D.
News from 5D with Otis 5D.
We come with the juxtapositions, bruh. Ain't nobody else coming with this kind of juxtaposition. Okay, so the homeboy Zarathustra, a.k.a. Czar Nick, says that Dario Amodei, that's the founder of Anthropic, aka Claude AI, which is the best AI. If you're coding, you should be using Claude, Claude.ai. Salute. At the time of this recording, I'm sure like in 2 months, it'll be totally different. Dario Amodei says AGI, what he calls powerful AI. So let's just like level set, like, what we're calling AGI is just powerful AI. It's not like whatever you weirdos want to specifically define it as. He says that it could come as early as 2026, bruh. Like a year out. And it is possible that 1,000 years of progress could happen in the 5 to 10 years following. I have to invert this so that you can see it. So we'll go to Dan Bongino, and then we'll come back. So then MJ Truth Ultra says, Dan Bongino advises this was back-to-back timeline. That's why, dude, I'm such an idiot to not say that until now. Bro, this was back-to-back timeline. So I'm doom scrolling and I'm like, yeah, tight. And then it's like, Dan Bongino advises everyone to prepare and have enough resources to survive for 3 to 6 months. Faraday bags to protect against an EMP attack. Get a generator, extra supply of gasoline, water filtration, plenty of bottled water, firearms and ammo, right? It's like, could you get more schizophrenic than this? You got one guy who has the leading AI company saying powerful AI could come in a year from now, and 1,000 years of progress could happen in the next 5 to 10 years. And then you got Dan Bongino talking about Faraday bags, bug out bags, generators, EMP attacks. Do you have enough water? Are you going to die? It's like, dude, it is the freaking best of times. It is the freaking worst of times. And I'm here for it. And we're here for it. And you're here for it. So I don't even know if you're going to be able to read this, but, I do what I can. So, but it's so good. Dario Amodei's piece is so good. You should read it. You should search. You should Google Dario Amodei, Amodei, new essay. And it's very good. So anyway, here's the TLDR. He says, what powerful AI will look like and when it will arrive is a huge topic in and of itself. Obviously, many people are skeptical that it will be built soon, and some will be skeptical it'll ever be built at all. I think it could come as early as 2026, so there are also ways it could take much longer. But for the purpose of this essay, I put these issues aside, assume it will come reasonably soon, and focus on what happens in the 5 to 10 years after that. I also want to assume a definition of what it will look like, what its capabilities are. Thus, it's my guess that powerful AI could at least 10x the rate of discoveries, giving us the next 50 to 100 years of biological progress in 5 to 10 years. Why not 100x? Perhaps it is possible, but here both serial dependence and experiment time become important. Meaning, Getting 100 years of progress in 1 year requires a lot of things to go right the first time, including animal experiments and things like designing microscopes or expensive lab facilities. So basically he's saying, like, no matter how smart the AI is, you still might have to like build microscopes, and that might take a lot of time. So it might be really hard to build enough microscopes to get 100 years of progress in 1 year. I'm actually open to the perhaps absurd sounding idea that we could get 1,000 years of progress in 5 to 10 years, but very skeptical still that we can get 100 years in 1 year. Another way to put it is I think there's an unavoidable constant delay. Experiments in hardware design have a certain latency and need to be iterated upon a certain irreducible number of times in order to learn things that can't be deduced logically. But massive parallelism may be on top of that. I'm Asian, so it's hard for me to do the R's and the L's, so please don't make fun of me. Okay, so point being, this is an extremely cogent guy who has the most advanced system in the world right now. Claude AI, every smart person I know, that's the one they choose. And he's like, I think we could absolutely easily have 50 to 100 years of progress in the next 5 to 10 years, but maybe even 1,000 years. And then on the other side of the reality fork, we have prepping and like we're all going to die and EMP attacks. And they're both, in my opinion, relatively plausible. So there is just such an intense schizophrenia going on right now. And the reason I want to focus on that is because I feel like everyone is feeling it, whether or not they are conscious of it. My basic worldview, I'm just going to say this. I'm so like understanding that a lot of people will immediately just cast me aside. But my basic worldview is that humanity is telepathically connected, meaning it's kind of like one of these we are all one things, but it's like we are connected through our hearts. And thus, more than we can read each other's minds, we can feel what each other are feeling. And so the schizophrenia that exists in you have some subset of humanity attempting to psychologically prepare themselves for 1,000 years of progress in the next 5 or 10 years. And then you have another huge segment of society trying to prepare themselves for a Mad Max future where industrial civilization completely collapses and we're back to like barter and aluminum as a store of value. And I think it's impossible to not feel that. You can deny it, you can try to drink, you can get, you can have your Zins and your Addies, but I think fundamentally, like, everybody is feeling it. And so I think that when you name something, I have a great, this is so good. It's such a perfect thing. So I have a friend and they confided in me that they were recently diagnosed with something. It's not that severe. It's like a congenital thing about their skeletal structure. And they said that they felt so good after they were diagnosed because they'd been dealing with this for so long and they had been gaslit that I think it's just all in your head, right? And when they were finally diagnosed, it was like by giving what they were experiencing a name, it made them realize that they're not crazy and that kind of like everything's okay. And so in many ways, I make these videos for those with ears to hear and eyes to see, to know that they're not crazy and they're not going insane. And we really are in an incredibly, indescribable period of time. An unfathomable amount of change is underway, and it's extremely schizophrenic because everything you believe, there's a vocal minority that totally disagrees with you. If you think anyway, I won't even. There's so many. You just go down the list of anything. We'll just stick with like Kamala and Trump, right? Like, let's just stick with the really basic stuff. If you really like one of those two people, there's no way you can't know that there is millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people that think you are just the biggest idiot to ever grace the face of the earth. And that's just a weird thing. There's like no consensus on anything. And what I think is good about this is that it's forcing each human, whether they know it or not, to either completely give up their sovereignty altogether and sort of just like collapse into being some kind of automaton, or to take their sovereignty into their own hands and just decide what they truly believe. You know, are we going into a prepper world, or are we going into a world of powerful AI? Obviously, there's no way to know for sure, but I do think that focusing on one at the exclusion of the other leads to very, very different outcomes. The way I experience this, yeah, I mean, here I am making this video. I may as well tell you what I actually think. I hope for the best, meaning, you know, technological optimism, and to some extent prepare for the worst by learning about all of these things and having the some set of these things that I personally feel drawn to, you know, as being very important for my potential survival. And then going back to focusing on the good, the true, and the beautiful, and building a new world, a better world, a wonderful world, a magical world. So, anyway, it's crazy times, man. So if you feel crazy, like, just know that that's normal. That's par for the course. You know, we're in the midst of some kind of dimensional shift of some sorts, if I do so reckon myself. So anywho, you know what to do. Thanks for watching, and go fuck yourself. Peace.
Otis5D.xyz